I'm sorry, we have no vacancies tonight. We're fully booked.
There are some other hotels up the street. Do you know anything about them? Can you recommend another hotel?
Well, there's the Wilbur House. I would recommend the Wilbur House. The Wilbur House is a very popular place for many travelers, but unfortunately, robbers know this as well, which makes it particularly interesting for stick-up men. Recently, the hotel was targeted by the notorious White Rice Gang. The leader of the gang was a rough individual named Joe White. The gang was based in Rice Street in St. Paul, and that's how they became known as the White Rice Gang. The gang barged into the Wilbur House and they held up the front desk clerk with a .44 caliber Colt revolver. And after they forced him to fork over $50, they pistol whipped him and then left. I don't think there's going to be that much of a chance of the White Rice Gang coming back anytime soon. So you should have a safe and quiet night if you find a room at the Wilbur House. Generally speaking, I think that the Wilbur House is a safe place. The recent speculation of a fire over there turned out to be not the case. Recently, there were large crowds of spectators that got in front of the Wilbur House anticipating a fire. They saw the fire department come making a lot of noise as they came with their horses and wagons, but the smoke that was coming out from the Wilbur House turned out just to be drying whitewash and had nothing to do with the fire. So the Wilbur House is a safe bet. I would stay there. There is the Wisconsin House Hotel. I would absolutely not recommend the Wisconsin House Hotel. There are a lot of very dangerous people, vagrants for the most part, that hang out there. And the police come to the hotel very often. In fact, just recently they came there to investigate the Von Seifert murder. You might have heard about it, that gentleman with the fractured skull. They thought that somebody used a leather billy club filled with lead shot to crack his skull. They came to the Wisconsin House Hotel to look for a suspect, a German guy named Black Nick. He had been seen badgering Von Seifert for drinks in a saloon prior to the attack. And the police knew that Black Nick regularly was allowed to sleep on the saloon floor in the Wisconsin House Hotel. The interrogation with their suspect didn't go so very well because Black Nick was too drunk to answer any of their questions. I would avoid the Wisconsin Hotel. It's just not a good choice. There is Fisher's Lodging House. If you're looking for a quiet night's rest, I really wouldn't recommend Fisher's Lodging House at all. You know, sometimes difficult and dangerous guests can create commotions in hotels. Most all travelers are used to this. But at Fisher's, it is the owners that are causing all the trouble. You know, the couple has no hesitation whatsoever from having violent altercations right in front of their guests. And just this week, Mr. Fisher threw his wife on the floor and threatened to slash her throat with a razor. Mrs. Fisher screamed for help and one of the guests had to wrestle the razor away. But the fight kept going on after that, and it grew so loud that a passing patrolman heard the commotion from the street and came into the lodging house and arrested Mr. Fisher. This is an ongoing problem and it's not likely to end, so I would not recommend staying even one night at Fisher's Lodging House. There is Rooney's Hotel. If you are a Christian, you might enjoy spending a night at Rooney's Hotel. It's a Temperance Associated hotel with generally well-behaved guests, but looks can sometimes be deceiving. A young guest from Philadelphia seemed like a good fit, and he attended all the gospel meetings, joined in the singing of hymns, and denounced the evil of saloons. But many of the guests at the hotel grew suspicious about the Philadelphia guest, and this happened when they found that many of their belongings were missing. And one night, the same young man came back to the hotel, and he was roaring drunk. He fell down, spilling the keys to the other guests' trunks right on the floor. He admitted to the other guests that he had broken into their trunks and stole from them while they were away. But the young man quickly got away. He grabbed the next train out of the Twin Cities. And the police said that there's probably not much they could do about it since he already had a 5.5-hour lead. So it might be a good place to stay sometimes, at least most of the time, at Rooney's Hotel. But they had an incident there lately that you should be made aware of. There is the Hennepin Hotel. If you manage to secure lodging at the Hennepin Hotel, I certainly would not entrust your valuables to the management of the hotel. It's not that the owners are not honest, they are. And many guests have given their money to them for safekeeping. But that hotel does not have a safe. The hotel owners keep the valuables in a strongbox in their room. And recently, they themselves were burglarized during their sleep. They woke up the next morning to find that their strongbox was gone. $400 of that money that was stolen was their money, and $600 belonged to the hotel guests. And they kept that in individual envelopes in the box. When they looked out their window, they saw all sorts of empty envelopes fluttering in the wind in the alley down below. So it's better that you keep your money with you at all times. I would not entrust it to any of these hotels. Don't fall victim to a dangerous hotel. To get a full listing of all the dangerous places in the city, please look at the directory of hotels found at www.lordhistory.com, and stay safe and have a good night's sleep.